Hi, standing staycationers. It's Marilyn here. It has become time for me to do your next presentation, and just a couple minutes ahead of 11 here, so I am waiting to have others come on and make sure I'm in the right spot, which looks like I am. So that is a good thing. And I am waiting to have others. Oh, have to worry about the sound there, so just bear with me. So I will switch the screen so you can see. Actually, it's me. Here I am. Um, Great presentations by Joanne and Lillian. I love both of them, all the tips happening and all the project ideas, which I will certainly be instituting into my Christmas cards and classes and whatever. So thanks, ladies. Um, just wanted to come and say hi to begin with. I'm in my very vanilla vest and my Calypso coral top. If you watched our video last night, our Facebook Live and Get to Know You, we talked about color and our theme is color. So I was going through my closet this morning thinking, okay, what kind of color should I have today? So this was my choice. So in the comments, why don't you put in how you decide on color, or if when you're picking your clothes out of your closet or at a store, do you ever think, oh, that's Calypso Coral, that's Pacific Point, that must be Melon Mambo? um, just let me know. It'd be kind of interesting to see what people think. So my project today, the first one is one that's a 3D project. So I'm going to switch you, before I go there, just a word of caution. I, like Joanne, am using a program that works from my computer to my phone, and most of the time, 99% of the time, it does work. So if something happens that it shuts off or whatever, I will do a workaround and come back with my phone directly to Facebook Live. But until then, let's carry on this way. So this is the stamp set and die set that I am using. It is out of the new Holiday Mini. It's called Freezin Fun, and it's got a lot of fun little characters in it. Lots of ideas. I don't have, other than the sample of what I'm going to do, I do have a number of variations of it, but it is a cute set and it involves coloring, or you could leave it, just stamp it in the ink of your choice. It also comes with dies, and these are the shapes of the dies. I like to do this with my dies so that I can see and actually measure if a stamp would fit or that kind of thing with it. And this is kind of a unique die in this particular set that will cut a snowbank. So I do have, well, I did have somewhere, oh, there it is. I'll just show you that first, a card that I've made with that, using it as a snowbank. So matching, not matching, doing some of the plaid paper that's in that catalog as well. And I did put a strip of that on the envelope. So to get started, as the other ladies have mentioned, the PDF instructions will be there with all the measurements. So I will be talking about the sizes that I've used and what I've used, but I won't be waiting for you to write them down or anything. You don't need to do that. They're all in the handout that you will get after the presentation. So first of all, I'm going to show you what we're making. It may not look like much, but it is a little gift box. We've called it an exploding box because when you take the lid off, it actually explodes and you end up with many different areas that you can stamp, you can write on, whatever. I have designed it, well, actually, the design that I got was from a gal named Bridget Keeling, and she had used the Zany Zebra stamp set in hers. I know someone that was on our group already mentioned that they have that stamp set and want ideas for it. So this is something where she did use it, going down the various blocks for that. There are other stamp sets. I have one other one that I'm going to show you at the end that I think would work really well as well. The only limitation, I guess, on this box is that it does start out with a 12-inch piece of paper. And Stampin' Up, we don't have that much cardstock anymore. So I have used designer paper. We can still get 12 by 12 neutrals. So therefore white is still available. And I'll show you a cute little box that I've done with just the white. But for this presentation, I have used the Heartwarming Hugs specialty paper. And pardon me, another word of caution would be if you're using a directional paper, you might want to consider how it's going to look before you actually start with it. These papers, as we've mentioned, are either side, and it would work with the snowflake paper that Joanne used this morning. It would be great because there's not really a directional in most of that, and I think it would look great. And as you found out last night, I'm kind of a blue liking person anyway, so that one would be another choice that I would use. The other thing that I've done, and as you can see, directional here, but I have put a piece on here that you can use for writing before you package it all up. At the end of your instructions, I've also included a list of, I think there's 30 some ideas for what might fit in here. And in some of my samples at the end, I will show you what I have come up with for those. So to begin with, we need a piece of paper 12 by 6. So in effect, out of a 12 by 12 designer paper, you could get two of these. Well, not quite, because you do need some for the lid. The lid is base is 6 by 12, and the lid, I don't have on that piece of paper. Okay, lucky it's in your instructions. I'm not going to worry about that. I have my pieces cut, so I'm just going to, I can measure them actually on my grid paper. The squares are all 1 7/8 square, fitting in a 2-inch square. So that's how you end up with just a little bit of a border around there. So I have my paper cut, and I'm going to use my scoreboard. I can get it so it doesn't fall off the table here. And this is the designer paper I'm going to work with. I have set it up at 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. So we're 2 inches either direction. And just score it. Don't press too heavy on the designer paper, of course, because it is quite thin and you might go right through it. And then turn it the other way and score it at 2 and at 4. So that's your base. Then for the lid, which I was going to measure and I didn't, it is 5.5 by 3.5, and it is scored at 3/4 of an inch all the way around. So basically the 3/4, which is kind of hard to get to in the corners, but just all the way around. And that's all there is to it, other than your decorating. And then I would take it and fold on those score lines, deciding which side I want out. And I think I'm going to have this side out because the ink I have chosen is to stamp on the lid like this is the red. Again, designer paper. Stampin' Up does such an awesome job of listing all of these colors that we talk about. They're always listed on the package of designer paper. Therefore, it's easy to match, not looking at it thinking, oh, what color did they use? So oh, there, I can see it if I hold it up. I like to do my my burnishing folds on a embossing mat like this. They just seem to work a little bit better. So once, I'll just start with the lid, just because I happen to have it here. And once I have those folds done, I'm going to cut in on the sides just up to the fold line. And that is going to be folded in and adhered, and that will make your lid. And then we have the embellishment on top. If you were going to use the white, you would want to stamp that before you actually glue the corners together. So to do that, whoops, that is all the gluing that we're doing. I have the tear and tape. Because it is a box, it's going to need to stay together and be sturdy for all of the openings and closings. So I'm going to put tear and tape just on each of these corners. And as you can see, my sample box as well as this one are done with Christmas paper. And again, following through on our theme from last night where I mentioned that I liked music, I'd like you to share in the comments what is your favorite Christmas song, whether it is a traditional Christmas carol, a fun chipmunks kind of song. Why not share with us? I would love to hear it. I have a number of them, of course, that we grew up with having music in our home, and I think if I had to say mine, it would probably be "Oh Holy Night." I just love how the whole song is. So to glue those together, I just line them up like that. And once you use tear and tape, you don't have a second chance to take it apart. So be careful when you do take the second layer of it off. And there is the lid for our box. So that didn't take long. However, now we get down to the base, and we're going to, again, keep the same on the outside. Even though I've scored it, I do like to make sure it's lined up the edge. Boy, it didn't take me long to lose my tools. Okay, unlike Joanne, can you see my bone folder somewhere? I don't see it. Must have thrown it out with the designer paper. So I would fold on all of the score lines. So the 2 done that way, and then the 2, 4, 6, 8 going this way, just so you know where you're going to cut. I find it a bit easier to cut after you do the folds. And for the most part, doesn't matter if you fold them all from one direction or the other. Well, now this is really getting bad because I don't see my... Okay, how can this be so? Ah, look at that. Both my bone folder and my scissors underneath the embossing mat that I have. So then all you do is cut from the outside to that fold line on all 2-inch scores again. So I'm finding this paper a little busy to see. Like Lillian, having my progressive lenses and looking down sometimes makes it difficult. So you're cutting on both sides because as you saw in the sample, it folds kind of into itself. So you can see how using the bone folder and burnishing it helps you to locate that line to cut on. So there is my base, and this is going to be the inside of it. And now we can do the stamping and the decorating. So I will bring in my mat. I've already stamped and colored the two that I thought took the most time, in the essence of time. So the rest of them I will be stamping with Memento Black because of the coloring happening. And no rhyme or reason to what. Oh, you know what? I bet you they're not going to fit. I thought I was being smart this morning and I put these two on together, but I don't think. I think I will take that one off and stamp it separate because if I don't get them quite right, they won't line up. Let's see if I can do this. Got her done. Okay, the next one, I have the big tree. And on my sample, I did color that with green and with some shimmer paint. Then I have my skiing bunny. I'll try to hold that up so I'm not shaking the camera for you. And he is whizzing down the hill, as my grandkids would say. And then I have, what did I have next? I have the little tree. And I believe I put this greeting. I tried to use all of the pieces, all of the stamps from this set because they are all so cute. Then for the words, the rest of the words that are on here, I find I always say when you cut white as your second layer in your card, you've usually got a piece about this size left. And being from a Scottish background, I tend to keep those pieces and I do try to use them. So that one, for that, is even fairly straight, which I will trim off. And again, because we're working on 2 by 2, may have to put that one on an angle when I put it on. Have another small one. That is just a wee. And I think he can go on this kind of paper. There. And then I do have another burst, just a little bit bigger, but like I say, I love all of them. Life's better when we're having fun together, and that's what we're doing today, right? This has become such a great day for us planning it as well as for you, we hope. And we're having fun. Hope you are. Okay. Then the only other stamping, which I will complete, is the top of the box. So for that one, I did take real red, and I'm using the Merry Christmas from For Unto Us stamp set. I love all of the different fonts and verses that are in this set, so I know they'll be used lots this year and probably other years. It's a set that I will end up hanging on to. So the Merry Christmas is from there, and the other snowflakes are from the Snow Much Fun set. So I'll do the Merry Christmas and hopefully have it centered. And I like Joanne, I do like the red, but I find red, if you look at my stamp pad and whatever, I forever got it somewhere it shouldn't be. And then for the snowflakes on that, and I don't quite have blue on my designer paper this time, but I'm going to use it anyway because to me, snowflakes are blue. So I have the three snowflakes are all on one, and I just want a random pattern and try not to do that. And I think it was Lillian in a video not very long ago said if you want random pattern, move your paper, don't try and move your stamp so much. So I did try that, and great, Lillian, great advice. It has been a great help with what I'm doing there. So that is our stamping. And now I do have to bring in my tray full of colors, and I will bottom do some coloring with you. Oh, look at what I found. I found the base piece I wanted in there. These are the colors I used to color all of those on that first sample. So great to be able to find those colors and matching. If you wanted to really match your designer paper, Stampin' Up! Has great choices. So I'm just going to set those two aside because they're done. I'm going to color my tree. I'm probably going to use the darker of the, and I'm going to put them on my silicone mat. And I tend to use the brush end because it's a little bit faster. But you could use either end. You could use any color you want. If your trees happen to be a blue-green, maybe you want to use a different color with that. So keeping in line with the Christmas carol, Christmas song idea, just want to ask, do you have any favorite Christmas foods, Christmas meal? I was chatting with my grandson last night and we were talking Thanksgiving and I said, well, are you going to cook a turkey? And he said, why a turkey? I said, well, turkey is Thanksgiving in my world. And also in our world, turkey tends to be our go-to food for Christmas. So there, the trees aren't hard. This guy I used, I think I used the real red. Bear with me while I try to remember. These are cherry Freezin real red. Yes. And I'm going to use the bullet end on that one. It doesn't matter because they're all the same vibrant colors and just do a bit of coloring. I really like how Stampin' Up! Has given us some ready shading in some of these things. So I don't have to worry about shading because I'm first to admit that I'm not great with that. I have, not a very good pen there. Night of Navy. So you can see if you were to make a number of these, it really, once you sat down, after you had them stamped, it wouldn't take long to color them. I did use gray granite, and this one's the dark one, this one's the light one. I'm going to put a little bit of the dark just where these little dots are for shading, and maybe on this orange, and then I'm going to blend right over top of it with the light. And I do need, looking at it, balmy blue. I'm going to do the edge of his ice that he's jumping off of. least that's what I'm calling it. I don't know. Maybe. So do any of you have this set? Have you been working with it and come up with some other great ideas? I can see, again, having littler grandkids, I have some all the way from 22 down to 6, and the smaller ones love this kind of thing. And I have a project, I had them in mind when I was doing it, using this set at the end. I'll show you. So there is that little guy, and then we just need to do our bunny. And for him, I used, and not that I have to use the same thing because they can all be different. I'm going to use the coloring. It's kind of difficult coloring standing up here, but I want you to be able to get the whole idea. Whoops, colored his foot. Poor little bunny. Thinking of this bunny, we actually live close to a lot of green space, and yesterday my hubby come to me and he says, "Come look at the new lawnmower." And I said, "What the heck are you talking about?" I look outside, and here is a little bunny sitting in our grass, and he is munching away at the grass. And Dennis said he's been there for a long time. I think it'll take him a while to get over the whole lawn. But he looks so soft and cuddly. Not that we went out and tried to cuddle him by any means, but they are so nice to. It's so nice to be able to watch that kind of thing in this day and age, for sure. So I'm just going to put a little bit of pink on this guy's ears. And I must say that bunny that was out there yesterday, he was still brown, so that was nice that he wasn't turning color. Okay, I have my black marker, which I am going to accentuate the eyes just because. And I do have to grab my, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's right. Grab my shimmer paint to finish off the trees. So just bear with me for a sec. Got it in a different bin. So shimmer paint is available in the frost white, and there's only one other color. I believe it's champagne. Maybe you can let me know about that if anyone knows. And I just take a little paintbrush and a little dab of that, and I was adding it just to give it that shimmer. Because when you go and when we do have the snow and you see the trees along the roadside and whatever, they have sometimes have snow on the edge like this. And that shouldn't take too long to dry. We'll put the rest of them on first and then see how these go. Hopefully you can see what's happening there. Just to get it out, and the other one I did, because to me ice, whoops, ice does have shimmer, so I did do it on here. And it's just a paintbrush. I can wash it out with water afterwards. And a nice way to add some glimmer to your project. So there are our pieces. Here's your, and when you go to place them on your strip, you can place them wherever you like. I have, like I say, I've got 2 or 3 other samples here to show you, and you'll see that none of them are placed the same way. But so I find it quite a versatile box to be able to do. So I have I'm going to just adhere my rayon piece at the back here. So I have my new, oops, get in the screen again. I, I noticed Lillian's comment asking if we're messy or neat stampers, and like most of the rest of you said, I'm a messy stamper. I've got stuff everywhere. It's lucky I have a big table. And sorry, but I'm trying to keep within the camera here so you can kind of follow what I'm doing. So it is sometimes a challenge. So there, I am going to place my pieces. And I will, once I'm happy with where they are, my colors, I've got to trim. My weave is going to go by my little bunny, I believe. Well, that one I think I'm going to get the paper trimmer for. And see if I can get these to be a little bit narrower so they fit. Oh, still needs a little bit off the end. Aren't they great? Great verses. That one up there. 1, 2, 3 is all I have. Okay. So I will bring in my paper trimmer and shorten this one up. Love this newest paper trimmer because it cuts small pieces. Like if you need just a small chunk off the edge like that, it is pretty amazing. Lots of thought went into it. I do find on a small piece like this, instead of bringing my cutting blade, oops, not in the camera. Instead of bringing my cutting blade down, I will use it going up because then it's going to push against the edges there to hold it. So just that little tidbit, and that might go there. So to adhere those, I am going to use our liquid glue, and mainly because of the wiggle room that we have when we use that. You'll notice the blends do come through the paper, but it's not a big deal when you're putting them on. Again, this paper is kind of hard to see, so I'm busy checking that I will be able to fold the box once I get it all together. So do you have some suggestions for what we can put in this 2x4 box? Is what it is, 2x2x4. I'd love to have more to add to my list. So why don't you put that in the comments for me? Let me know what ideas you have for little treats to go in here. I have, of course, candy, various kinds. I tend to not buy a lot of candy for our place because we really don't need it. And guess can't glue that one because I already did. So, and again, I think this would be easy paper because it's got the gingham on it, but it is really hard to see. But hopefully it gives you the idea, and I'm really looking forward to those that you can make to put in the challenge after this project. So I think we're safe. Everything's stuck. The glue away. I can put, whoops, just slide my cut pieces off to the edge. So there is, kind of hard, you know what? Just for the reason of showing you, I'm going to lay them like this for now. Oh, I'm going to put this one on. So the stamped piece that I have for the lid, again, not much of a border around it, but so there would be my two samples. So, further to, I want to show you the other ones I have and what I have in them. So I'm just going to set these aside for now. I have the first one I made, and it's quite sturdy when it's all together. You can hear something rattling in there. My first thought when I saw this was the little boys would love to have a match car. So, matchbox car, not a match car. You know what I mean? This one, we happen to have a bucket of cars here that we had when our son, who is now 47, he had when he was at home. So they've run the gamut of the big grandsons, the little grandsons, and it does fit in there. And to close it up, and you can see I've got everything placed in a different place. It's a different kind of designer paper. I just go around those two, then around those two. Same idea from this side, and then the lid is what holds them all together. So that would be the first one. Then I did one with our, can't remember the paper, but it's a designer paper we have now. It's a bit thicker. And I cut the words Merry Christmas out with the die. It has the green and the blue on the other side. And that one, look at the jackpot there. That one holds 5 Lindor chocolates. And I decided on this one I would put the characters going the other direction. So even on kind of a busy paper with design like this, I think it looks okay. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. So now whether I can get that one back together or not. So again, 2 and 2, and then on this side, these 2, and these 2, and these 2, and my Merry Christmas. And I did find that once I had them together, that lid did hold them. So it wasn't a matter of needing something like a tie or belly band to go around them. So this one, yes, it looks kind of plain from this side, and I probably could have maybe stamped on the outside. I did hinge stamping with the Stamparatus to get that on the lid before I put the corners together. And this one I made into a fun kit for, well, in my world, for little kids to color, but it could be for anybody to color. So I just stamped with our black memento, 1 in each square, so there's no extra pieces attached on this. And then didn't think about this too early, so yesterday I'm busy gathering little things that could go in it. But my main idea was that we could probably put those little crayons, you know, that they have in the restaurants and everything, a little package of them in there, and the recipient, whoever, thinking, you know, even thinking nursing homes nowadays where the residents are really restricted and looking for something to do. This would be kind of a cute idea. And spend the time coloring. So that is using the Whisper White 12 by 12, which, like I said before, we can still buy in the neutrals package, but not by itself. And then I thought, okay, we need something masculine. We've got, you know, we could do flowers, but I came across the Sail Away stamp set with the congrats. And I'm thinking a happy birthday would fit on there as well. A more masculine kind of designer paper I chose, as you can see, and again, world of something. It's got all the tile colors on the inside. And in that one, I did a golf theme, golf balls, golf tees, that little divot fixer. And I just took one of the browns and, well, a couple of the browns by the looks of it, and stamped on Very Vanilla and just placed them and a couple of the words from that stamp set. So in my world, you could certainly do almost any age and any um, side, like male, female, kids, anything. This would work just great. I was wondering if the golf balls would be, um, if you need more secure things to hold it together. And I discovered that by just, the hardest part is this, just getting it all back, whoa, goodness, into place. And then when you do put that lid on, it seems quite fine. So of course, you can't mail this, but it's certainly a cute little gift box for giving. But I just looked over here and saw one other thing I want to show. Let's see if I can get this in the camera. When I read the instructions and the one with the zebra, it was done basically this way. And I thought, oh, there must be a way to do with other sets. So I'm bringing in Autumn Goodness, which obviously an autumn theme. It's got the wheat sheaves, the pumpkin, the flowers. And I took 3 of those stamps. I'm just going to move these out of the way for a minute. And I stamped them on a piece that was 11 and a quarter. Anyway, 1 7/8 times 6. My calculator helped lots. So I just stamped them randomly, and then what I would do with them is cut them at the 1 7/8. And yes, there will be a space between them, but they will all line up in your, and you can, because I did them in the black memento. So it's like putting a puzzle together when you get them out. And again, it's not very good for on camera, so I'm going to go this way with them. But does that give you any ideas of other things you could do if you wanted to put them on maybe colored paper, or just color them with whatever coloring tools you have? I think that would be another awesome gift that people would love to receive. So hopefully that has inspired you to try something different. It's quite easy, as you saw. It wasn't the longest part, of course, was the coloring that has to be done. And just want to make sure I've got the right information here. I will just switch back to saying hello. Thank you for joining me. Any questions? I know Joanne's been following things there, and she will, anything that she couldn't answer, she'll be in touch and I will get back to you. So it is lunchtime. Are you getting hungry? I will see you all back here. Lunch is scheduled for now, and our secret stamping is at 12:30. So hopefully you found that list with your supplies you're going to need, and you'll be back at 12:30 to stamp along with Lillian and the rest of us, and we'll see what everybody ends up making. So thanks for joining me. We'll see you later. Bye now.